When you are at a stage where something's not serving you, when you are facing a roadblock, when you have had a failure, when you have faced a challenge, if you can take even the smallest step forward in whatever direction, some sort of forward movement, then at that stage, you start to gain momentum. I think you have to keep moving forwards because nothing stands still in our life.
Long-term success in business is more than just making money. It's a combination of business savvy, mindset, and endurance, and most importantly, creative, effective, and efficient business strategies to get results without the overwhelm. Hello, I'm Natasha Mitchell, and today my guest is Jemima Cooper, and she's going to be sharing a few of her favorite easy profit generating strategies along with a simple 8-step formula that will really set you up for success without the overwhelm. Jemima is a former professional ballerina turned endurance athlete, psychology grad, entrepreneur, multi-passionate life go-getter, and business consultant and coach. Jem brings her experiences from the world of sports, peak performance, mindset, overcoming severe illness, and running a business to support ambitious entrepreneurs to step up to a higher level of alignment, personal power, autonomy, and ultimately results. I always say for me that the people I work with in business are people I would actually want to be friends with. And not only do I respect Jem's work ethic and passion for helping business owners get results, and her openness to sharing ideas and collaboration, but our shared love of travel and adventure and good conversation has resulted in a new friendship too. So welcome to the show today, Jem.
Natasha, thank you so much for having me. And yeah, it's been such fun getting to know each other over these last few months. It feels like so much longer than we have known each other. So yeah, thank you for that introduction. I'm very, very excited to be here today.
Well, fantastic. So let's dive in because I know you've got so much knowledge to share. You know, you've already achieved so much in your life. You know, you've been from professional ballerina to now endurance athlete. You've moved abroad by yourself. You're living in Spain. Can you just share a little bit about your journey and background and what's driven you to achieve so much at such a young age?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely has been jam-packed. And when I look sometimes, or I mean, situations like interviews or podcasts or whatever, and I'm kind of listing the things I have, there has been an awful lot there. And I think it's really fundamental to my personality and my whole philosophy. My whole course, my program is called Momentum. That's kind of really key to who, what, and why I am. And the idea of momentum is something that's taken me through all of my life. Now, sometimes when I look at all the different things and turns and twists in my story and what's got me to the different situations I have, I look at it and go, okay, was it nature or was it nurture? There were some challenges that got me to these places. And often when I have done such hard lefts and turned the other way, going from ballet, going to endurance sport, you know, flying abroad and moving to somewhere I'd never been before and didn't speak the language. It wasn't necessarily because everything was plain sailing, comfy and stable. And actually, I have overcome a number of personal challenges. I've overcome challenges as an athlete, injury, illness, all of these things that has given me a great deal of perspective. And often it has really closed doors, unfortunately, but I see things quite differently when doors close or when I actually hit a rock bottom or when I hit a failure. And I actually have learned from, as I say, nature or nurture, to actually get really excited when that happens, because I always know that I have something within me that will help me drive forwards. I'm not scared of the bottom. I'm not scared of things going wrong, because I will absolutely take action. Anytime something is really going, off plan or, things getting tough, I'm facing a challenge, my kind of remedy, and always has been, is to take some kind of action. Now, I don't always have a plan for that action. For instance, I live in Spain now, but my plan was actually to move to America, and I'm quite far from it. But I did take some sort of action. So I face challenges and I take some sort of step forward, and that is absolutely key in my philosophy. When you are at a stage where something's not serving you, when you are facing a roadblock, when you have had a failure, when you have faced a challenge, when there has been a tragedy, if you can take even the smallest step forward in whatever direction, even if it's not the one you had planned first of all, even if it's not as big a step forward as you would like, but you take some sort of forward movement, then at that stage, you start to gain momentum, because with action, it breeds clarity, and with more clarity, it breeds more action. And when you have more action, you start to get more results. And as you get results, more motivation, more action, and it goes round in a circle. I think you have to keep moving forwards, and because nothing stands still, right, in our life. And that's certainly something that I have done. And, you know, I list off all these various activities that I've done and whatever. I don't have 30 years in a corporate career before I found entrepreneurship. I don't have, you know, I've been an endurance athlete for nearly 6 years. I was a dancer for 16 years, but I didn't have a lifetime of doing it. I did it, and then I moved on, and I wasn't afraid to take a new direction when I needed to.
Mm-hmm. And I think
that's kind of makes sense.
Yeah, no, great. I love that, because, you know, I think that's part of it. And I think as business owners, we need to have some level of comfort with uncertainty, with taking risks. And I know in my own journey, you're right. Like in fact, we've had a very similar path, it seems, but sometimes those most unexpected risks that we took, or when we stepped out and we weren't quite sure what the end result was going to be, really as what opened the doors to the next opportunity or the next person we met, or, you know, gave us a new perspective on something, and we took a different direction. So I think that's great advice.
I think that's so good, just to open your eyes and open your ears, and like there's no point in sticking hard and fast to a plan if you're not willing to adapt, because 9 times out of 10, it's not what we assume. And that is something that I, again, really, really do strongly believe, that you should always keep your eyes and your ears and your mind open. We don't know what we don't know. You should never judge until you've tried. You never know what that person is going to bring, or what that, you know, one door closing was probably for a reason, because another one's gonna open again. So I would really say, if you take anything from me and the kind of the way I think about stuff, is actually, you know, don't be scared of what you don't know. Just grasp that opportunity, get what you can. And if it wasn't quite what you wanted, didn't serve you, I'm, you know, darn sure that it would have given you some advantage. It would have given you a new bit of information, a new bit of clarity. It would have given you a new perspective that you can then take forwards and move forwards on your journey.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, there's just so much in that. And I think that we've as a society, we've kind of a bit of a fear culture, and we've been conditioned to go on that steady path. So I think it's relearning, reprogramming, perhaps, you know, our way of thinking about things is really important. So Jem, you've already built a successful 6-figure business in the past, but, you know, we've had many conversations about that, and you've shared with me how you did feel a lot of pressure and overwhelm in running that business, and were even burning out. And so many people can relate to that. So can you tell us a little bit about what that looked like for you, and what lessons you learned from that experience of running such a big business and trying to juggle so many parts?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I look at this, and I'm actually so unbelievably grateful for the total cock up, which was that business. It really was. It was the best professional learning curve of my life. And it was actually a relatively learning curve, if you like. So right at the beginning of the pandemic, I wanted to scale out the marketing department of a sports agency, which was going to be really struggling by the fact that there weren't events going on. And I was kind of going, okay, this business isn't going to survive unless we kind of diversify. Why don't I come in and use some of my marketing knowledge? I was a consultant since I was like 20 years old. I started off an internship for like 3 months, and by month 5, I was taking on one-to-one consulting clients, and it kind of went from there. And I consulted through university. So I had like consulting experience in sports marketing, which as an athlete, I was learning. I knew the kind of market very well, and I was doing various social media strategies and basic kind of launch strategies for products and stuff. But I wanted to kind of take this further, and I looked at the situation and go, okay, well, this company that I was kind of a partner for is going under unless we do something. So, and I'm not going to race when it's a pandemic. So let me put my drive and my focus somewhere else. And so I developed a marketing consulting agency. And I started to get on some clients. I was pretty good at the kind of the sales side of it. I was very good at going into companies, pushing a few pain points, identifying that, you know, there were some big gaps in their strategy, making that relevant to them and positioning myself as the solution for that. And it was great. Like the first 3 or 4 months, we were on for like well over 6 figures in our first year. And it was, you know, really cool. The strategy is really complex. We were dealing with companies with big A players going for big investment, and we had quite a diverse, you know, range of different clients. I was loving it. I was this 23-year-old girl with, you know, smashing life in my career and, you know, building a business that was going to do well. But by month 4, I was going, okay, I'm going to get 4 big clients. And there comes a point where I don't know how many more hours I can work. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't actually, it was a bit complicated. Again, a personal learning curve. It was difficult. My position within that model, I was running the show, running the ship. It was totally my business, but I wasn't running the finances. So therefore I couldn't make the investments in good people that I wanted. I was limited who I could invest in. I hadn't set up the systems because I was doing everything. And of course, as many entrepreneurs feel the same, you know, no one was going to do it as well as me. So I might as well do it. And we got to the stage where I was like, okay, well, I'm going to have to turn away some clients because I can't go beyond this. And now they're asking for things that I'm saying yes to on Thursday to deliver on Friday, and spending Thursday evening on YouTube figuring out how to do that stuff that I just said I could do, because we're not genius at everything. And it was really tough. So I spent the first like 4-month hiatus going, this is epic. Like, how cool is my salary? I've never seen a salary this big. And then I spent like month 5 to 7 going, holy moly, like, how can I deliver? Like, that was my biggest concern. How can I deliver for these clients? And kind of by month 8 and month 9, I'd made some real mistakes hiring cheap, poor people who had burnt me and, you know, caused problems with clients. I was so exhausted that I was letting things slip. I was making really fundamental errors on proposals, or even, you know, some really simple things like social media posts. And I just, you know, missed out 5 words of a sentence, and just like, it was showing. And I got to the point kind of 9 months in where I'd lost so much. Like, I'd lost free time. I was screwing over my relationships. The pandemic was kind of a, you know, good cover for it, but like, I hadn't seen my family for more than like 23 seconds. You know, in the last 9 months, I was trying to train as an athlete at the same time. I was sleeping like 4 or 5 hours a night, which when you're training 20 hours a week as a high level athlete is not enough. I wasn't eating well. And I was going to the doctors, you know, all these random ailments, and they were going, geez, you're going to end up in hospital if you don't do something about this level of exhaustion. And I just hit a wall. I fell out of love with it. The clients were just being difficult, probably responding to my energy, because I imagine I was not, you know, the ideal consultant for them at that time. I was trying to do what I could, and feeling very unfulfilled, very much like a failure on many levels, because I knew I wasn't giving my best work. The clients knew I wasn't giving my best work. And I was failing at everything, at life, my relationships, my friends, like, you know, they hadn't, you know, existed. My coach was going, Jem, what the hell are you doing? You're not showing up to, you know, sessions. I was failing my sport. It was all going crazy. And I actually made the decision at that point that life needed to change. And it was a great wake-up call, because there was a lot that did need to alter to get myself out of that mode. And I recognized actually some of what had been fueling that was inefficiencies in my environment, or insufficiencies in my environment. I wasn't in an environment that was supporting me and my needs. I was in an environment where actually hustle was the best option, and hustle was hiding anxiety. Hustle was hiding actually lackings I had within me, and, you know, wounds that I needed to heal, and also things I wasn't getting from people around me. So not the support and the care and my people I didn't have around me. So I was fulfilling this. And I think this is something that entrepreneurs can relate to as well. Like, when they're in this situation, actually, often when you get into a state of such extreme hustle that you go to burnout to the level that you have physical ailments, or your business crushes, or your relationships, you know, go to pot, whatever, it often started as a bit of a survival mechanism. And because the body is very clever in the way it does, or the mind's very clever in the way it does that, it fills in gaps so we don't feel pain. That's a fundamental role of the brain, like stopping us pain. And so when we are hustling and when we are doing and when we put ourselves in situations that aren't sustainable, initially it actually feels really good because it's probably filling gaps that from elsewhere. And I actually got to the point where I reflected on this and go, hey, you know, I've come back physically from a lot worse, but I have really been to the edge physically because I overcame some very severe illness when I was younger. And I didn't want to go, I really respect my health. And actually it was such a wake up call going, I'm actually affecting my health here. And I value my health so much now. And I also got to the point you go, okay, this isn't the life I want. And I can't be 23 and at this stage, like I don't earn enough for this, like for sure. And everyone kind of around me is going, oh, you just need to stick it out or maybe get to a year, or like, you know, it's just because it's new. And I was going, I don't need to, you know, sleep under my desk any more nights to prove to anyone or anything that this is not right. It's not right and it's not sustainable and I can't do it. And anyway, long story short, I ended up by changing everything, changing my whole lifestyle, moving abroad to an island that I'd never been to before, in a country I didn't speak the language and knew no one. And I'm not necessarily saying that's the best advice for everyone, but for me, it really did work. But that led me through a whole kind of personal growth and development journey. Led me to Natasha, in fact, when I decided that I needed to really up my game and put some of that hustle to good use and use some of the funds I'd made from that to invest in masterminds and learning, so I didn't make the same mistakes again. And then moving forward, I got to be honest, my recovery from that burnout was not quick. Physically, it does take a lot longer than you think. And I think also the level of and depth of realization I had when I hit that wall took some time to sink in. And I would say my following year in 2021 was truly a year of healing, of growth, of learning, and learning to be still, learning to be with myself, and actually tuning in to who I truly want to be. And Natasha will know this from when we first met, kind of last springtime. My head was all over the place still. I was tired. I was, super excited and super like low, and like my moods were all over the place. And I was bouncing from thing to thing because I hadn't actually got to the stage where I'd actually settled everything and could go within deeply to be able to tell you what I actually needed and what I actually wanted. And it took me a few months and a lot of talking with different people, changing my environment, addressing this various issues going on, and stabilizing that environment to create a emotional, personal, interpersonal, professional environment that was supporting me as an entrepreneur, that I could then go forward and make really powerful decisions to build a sustainable business going forward. So a lot of personal stuff came out of that. And I definitely, like, through that process, come through a completely different woman. I am a completely different woman on the front end. My systems and my operations side of my business are a completely opposite. And for someone that she is the least systematic person, and my absolute rule for me and anyone that's in my business is, if it doesn't have an SOP, it doesn't exist in the business. So a complete change, but yeah, an amazing experience I'm grateful for, and now can warn a lot of people as to like how not to do the same.
Yeah, and I think so many people as entrepreneurs do get into that. So it's like that, either one of two things, either no progression and that's frustrating, or rapid progression because it's something you love doing and you're great at doing, but there's not a strong foundation underneath that. And we're going to talk a little bit later about sort of marrying the business side and all of the other elements that go there. But, I think the whole concept of hustle and making money at all costs is, again, it's a very common narrative that we see. And something I talk about a lot with my clients is, forget about the business for a minute. Let's talk about the lifestyle you want. What's the big outcome that you want? And then we'll align a business to that lifestyle, not the other way around. And that is when, it's interesting. You said sometimes you don't have a full plan. That's okay when you know the big outcome, but when you have no outcome and no plan, that's a problem. Or if you have a plan, but it's not aligned to the outcome, that's a problem. So I think, there's so much in kind of your story there that you've shared, and sort of teasing that out, but knowing that big direction, knowing what you will or will not tolerate, prioritizing what is the priority in life, which is health and well-being as the start. And money is really like down the level a little bit. And
it will come.
We can forget that, right?
Totally. Yeah, totally. And there's a couple of things that really come to mind here. And me sharing that story, I hope I try to be as authentic as possible. I am open as a book. And I hope telling that actually will help other people do the same. I would say though, look, there is a lot of stuff online on Instagram and, in the entrepreneurial world, and they treat hustle as a badge of honor. You're going to make it to 7 figures if you wake up at 5 o'clock every day and you just dedicate everything to your business and you sleep under your desk. I disagree that it should be a badge of honor, but I don't lie for a second, and I don't pretend that hustle isn't required, because let's just go back a step and just, hey, I burnt out after 8 months, and I probably could have gone on and kept it on longer. I decided that my life was worth more than what I was producing. I could have probably, found ways around it. I didn't want to. Yeah. And that's that. But if we go back a step, actually, it was a pretty cool thing I did, that at 23 years old, I saved a business, scaled a 6-figure business within 3 or 4 months. That is actually quite a cool thing. And it didn't come easily, and it did take hustle. And there are different phases in our business, at different stages within our weeks, and certainly within our quarters and our years, and within our seasons of our business at large, where hustle is required. Like, I'm not going to lie, like, if you're not prepared to dedicate and, miss the odd friends drinks, thing because you're working on your business, you're probably not going to scale to a multiple 7, figure business. And it's brutally honest. However, that hustle or that hardship doesn't have to be a badge of honor. You don't have to wreck yourself to be a successful entrepreneur, and you can hustle and still look after your well-being, and still, have time to train and spend time with friends and have those non-negotiables. Because ultimately, if you want long-term success, if you don't have a vehicle that can transport you there, i.e. your body and your systems around you, the people around you that fill you up with energy, the energy drivers that you bring into your body so you can show up and deliver and give value and do all the things that you will need to do to grow a successful business, there is no point. And there's no point in pretending that either. So.
Yeah. And so, I mean, that's a great segue in, because I'm sure some people listening were like, wow, Jem, how did you ramp up that 6-figure business so quickly? And I think there's a reality. One, sometimes it's time, place. You came with a very specialized skill set to a very specific market. You knew your audience well, and you sort of had that foundational piece covered. But I'd love to hear from you a couple of specific things that you could recommend if someone is just starting out in business, or they're a bit stuck, they're really not making the progress they need or they want to, because let's face it, we do need some money to pay the bills. I know that you have, some great tactics that can help you focus on getting that profit. So could you share a couple of your favorite strategies for expanding your visibility and creating those first sort of profit wins? I'd love to hear some of those from you.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks for that question, because I love talking on this topic. I love anything that is focused on how do we get results quickly. I'm an athlete, as Natasha shared, and I have been since I was 4 years old, which means I'm pretty competitive by nature. I don't like to lose, and I very much like to win, and I like other people around me to win as well. And so I like fast, efficient, and effective strategies. And as entrepreneurs on day one, we need things like that, because there is a long-term plan, but there is also, I need to keep the lights on plan, and that has to be realistic. And a lot of the coaches out there, and a lot of this waffly courses that don't get anyone results, they give a lot of, let's figure out something that's going to take 59 years to work out what Sarah has for breakfast so we can find our ideal client, and then, develop loads of content and build up the algorithm. It's like, oh, that's great, but this is like an 8, 9, 18-month plan. And you're sitting here right now going, I'm still having to, do my laundry in a laundrette because I can't afford a washing machine because I'm paying for, I don't know, a logo this month or something. And it's just, it's not realistic to where you want to go. So focusing on the things you really need to do in your business right now in order to facilitate a more sustainable growth plan and more sustainable scale plan. So the very first thing I always say to all of my clients who normally come into me, they're pretty good at what they do, they've had some results in the past, but they tend to come to me doing about 59 things and feeling kind of overwhelmed. They just don't know how to get to the next level, but they're also like, I don't know if I have any capacity to go to the next level. What do I do, Jem? And I say, okay, let's cut everything out and focus on the 1 to 3 things that makes everything else in your business unnecessary, unimportant, or obsolete. This is like my golden rule. What 1 to 3 things make everything else unnecessary, unimportant, or obsolete? Now, in your first phase of business, that probably is making some money. I'm not in the get rich quick scheme. Like I'm not for that. It's not clever. And, you know, like I did, I got rich relatively quick, or in my terms it was, but it, you know, it's not sustainable. I'm not for that. However, I am very focused on helping entrepreneurs to make money quickly in their business, because once you get that first 10K and 15K in, it makes life so much easier. It allows you to invest in software that is better for what you do. It allows you to outsource, you know, some video editing so you can do more YouTube, for example, and get more clients that way. It allows you to, I don't know, get an article somewhere that's right in front of your ideal clients. Getting money makes life easier. So you got to look at all the things you do in your week and actually cut that down into what is actually getting you 1, conversation with your clients, or 2, getting you direct money, depending on whether whether you're a product-based business or a service-based business. So if you are looking at your week and you know that you do loads of content for Facebook and Instagram most of your mornings, and then you're faffing around at the back end of a website, then you do some SEO stuff, and then, you know, you do a Facebook Live with a friend, and then, you know, you have some women's networking meetings 4 times a week or whatever. I want you to take a look from a kind of a bird's eye view and go, okay, what 1 or 3 activities within that are actually making me money? So it may be that those women networking groups, for example, are jam-packed full of your ideal clients, in which case putting all of your energy into that and expanding that and getting more groups or raising your profile within those groups is the best thing that you can do. If Facebook groups are the way you are getting leads right now and starting conversations and getting people booking sales calls on your diary, then we focus on that. And all the waffle around for the first stage of your business, let's not even worry about, because as soon as you can get profit generating activities, and as soon as you can get profit going in your business, someone else can take care of your Instagram and your YouTube and all the things that you're trying to do right now around the edge that aren't other just noise. Someone else can solve for you. So your sole goal is focusing on that 1 to 3 things in your week or in your day or in your kind of business activities that are actually generating conversations with ideal clients and booking new calls or selling your products. So that's the number 1 thing I would say. And I would literally tattoo it across my head if I could, because the amount of times I say that phrase every single day. What is going to make everything else unimportant, unnecessary, obsolete? The second thing I would say that is a really key focus is getting real data from paying customers. Mm-hmm. So we see a lot of this thing, you got to research, you got to find the voice of your ideal client, you got to go places where they hang out and you got to listen to them. Okay, I love that. Understanding who you're talking to, understanding the words they're using, absolutely. You'll hear me say this in my programs, and it's ideal for messaging. However, what 5 friends from school and your mum says about your programs or is a good idea is a very, very different answer to someone that's being asked to put £2,000 on the line or £20,000 on the line or whatever it is. A paying customer is better market research than anything else you can possibly do. And even the best coach, the best marketer, the best business strategist in the world cannot tell you the answers that your paying customers can. And so really focusing on ways to getting, paying, and I'm saying paying, it may be £7, it may be £7,000. It doesn't matter, but a paying customer will tell you more information than anything. So one of the strategies I use with a lot of my clients, kind of focusing on the very first thing I said, where it's a profit focused approach to begin with, but also appreciating the fact that we want paying customers to give us information about what they actually want and what they actually need and how we can solve their pains and their problems. I love a beta course, or a case launch is what we could call it. So by a beta course, the concept is you're selling ideal clients on the idea of a transformation. They buy into the idea that you're going to get them a very specific result in a very specific time frame. And they buy into that idea knowing that this is a beta or introductory or case study course that isn't defined yet. But you are going to work with them very, very closely to get them results so they can become a great case study for you when you do relaunch. And because they know that it's not going to be all bells and whistles, and you may not even have a website for it, and you may just be delivering on Zoom, or, may just have a Facebook group and no fancy community on the back end. They know that. And you are going to be giving them a great discount for it, a 50% discount, let's say, and you're going to be giving them a guarantee as well. So it becomes a no-brainer. So you're guaranteeing them that they will get X result. And that's in your interest, because if you don't get them X result that you're promising in this transformation, then they can't be a great case study for you later. So it's totally in your interest to get these people standout results so you can have those all singing or dancing testimonials when you do. But then what you do is you bring, say, 5 people or 10 people on, paying some money, 50% off, 75% off, whatever you choose. They pay you some money, and you build out a course as you go. So it may be a 4-week course, an 8-week course. And each week you deliver some content, and then you ask for feedback from your community, from your beta testers, and go, hey, actually, I'd planned to do this next week. Would this be helpful for you? Or would this, is something else more helpful? What questions would you like to be asked? And you build out a program based from the feedback and the words coming out of the mouth of your paying customers. Using that as a strategy is a great way to go from I don't have a product and I have no customers on Sunday evening to Monday or Tuesday having 5 or 10 paying customers coming into your world, and you're going, Jen, this is freaking scary. And yes, it is freaking scary selling people on an idea, but if you do it, and you can overcome that little bit of inhibition that we will all have, and use this strategy time and time and time again, it has helped my clients generate serious income quickly and give them huge amounts of confidence when they do go to a full launch or take things further, because they know flat out that this program is something people want, need, and desire, and will pay for. And it's a kick-ass strategy for moving forwards.
Yeah,
so I would say that is
great
another
strategies. Yeah, thanks, Jem. Great strategies, very tactical. I love the whole idea of just simplifying it down, focusing your energy in one place, doing a very introductory level course, asking your clients, so valuable. I think it's something that's overlooked by so many people. They spend, as we've said, they spend years and years getting the tech, learning the tech, creating hours and hours of content, and then at the end of that, not being able to sell it. So I think that's really practical. Jen, we're getting towards the end of our time today, but I do want to just touch briefly, we talked about all of these things that we're doing really help you manage your time, energy, set you up for that long-term success, make sure you're creating a business, supports your lifestyle. And you've got an amazing program, which is called the Momentum Program. And you've got, 8 key steps in that framework to getting unstuck and building that massive momentum. Could you just talk to us briefly, and maybe we need to have another discussion and go deep on this, but just sort of at a top level, the 8 key things that you think people need to have in place to set them up for this long-term success?
Absolutely. Well, thank you for kind of bringing that up. And absolutely, momentum and getting momentum is key to your business. Why we see all these big dogs, as I call them, just flying forwards, and they're stealing all the traffic, is because once they get going, they get the momentum and everything gets easier. And this is, going back to what I just said, once you get the money in, then, it's much easier to make more money, and it just goes forward. And this is fundamental. But in order to get that momentum going, you do need some fundamental things, as Natasha said. The very first stage in my 8-step formula, and momentum is an algorithm, the very first stage is mindset mastery. I truly believe you can have the best sales funnel, the best setup, the best lead magnet, the best marketing strategy in the world. But if you don't believe that your product is good enough, if you don't believe that you can change the lives of the people that you're working with, and you don't believe in yourself, you are screwed. You are not going to make any money, and you won't go places, or you will self-sabotage and end up burnt out or something. So the very first stage I take anyone through is actually mindset mastery, mastering the mind of an entrepreneur. Now, this is not waffly, let's sit in a circle and do some yoga and some breath work and stuff. Yes, that's great at points, but you need some very fundamental belief systems to become a successful entrepreneur. And these are things that I've learned from trial and error, but also from research, from peak performance, and also taken from my athletics, which kind of crosses over quite nicely with entrepreneurship. So mindset mastery is to begin with. Then we look at owning your space. So if you want to become a thought leader and an authority, you want to grow credibility, you need to own that space, and you need to develop a very strong brand. So looking at how you can actually own your unique advantages, stand up and take ownership of who, what, and why you are and what you bring to the world. That's very, very key as a fundamental piece, because once you have a strong brand, then you can look at my next step, which is millionaire methods and modeling. Now, there are ways to build businesses that set you up on a hamster wheel, and there are ways to build businesses that set you up to scale without overwhelm. And the latter is what I teach. So I talk about various different ways to actually productize what you know, which is something I found incredibly difficult until I found this method, and actually break it down into something that could be packaged. Mm-hmm. From there, you need to look at efficient and effective marketing. None of this be there everywhere and you do all the things strategy. But I look at efficient and effective marketing in 2 phases. Number 1 is very hyper-focused. You can only choose one platform, and you focus on absolutely nailing community on one platform. Taking this, what will make everything else unnecessary, uninteresting, or obsolete, knowing that once you've nailed one platform, you can expand out. And I have that in 2 phases. From there, we go to no doubt sales, because it's all very well marketing to these people, but you actually have to get them across the line in order to make the transformation. So I talk about how we kind of align ourselves, align the energy to selling effectively as well. No doubt sales, tech and systems. I'm not a systems girl, but I learned systems very effectively. And I have a great module for tech and systems, which is all about tech and systems for non-techie people. From there, because once you've got these clients in, you need to make sure you can automate, and as you scale and grow, that's very, very important. And then we move into the unfailing client success formula. Lots of courses fail. Like the failure rate for courses online is like 90%. A very, very, very micro small percentage are those ones you see on the testimonials and on the case studies. So I really believe in building like a super fan basis that can skyrocket your business forwards, and actually supporting your clients in the very, very best way will be your best marketing asset you ever have. And then we finish off with maximizers and multipliers, and how to actually scale that business up once you've got all the other places, all the other cogs in the wheel going, actually how you can take things up to the next level. And that's when we introduce things like funky strategies you can do to earn 10K extra in a month. That's when we talk about, okay, how can we now add downsells and cross sells and upsells, all the funky bells and whistles things that we can get to once you got the fundamentals in place. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's a very tried and tested model that can work for service-based businesses, consulting businesses, coaches of all kinds, and no stone is left unturned. You can't just have good sales with no marketing. You can't just have good marketing with no systems. You can't have a great product but no way of keeping your clients. So it really covers everything and puts you in a very, very good stead to very comfortably, effectively, and without overwhelm move forward to create that 6 a multiple six-figure business.
Well, I know that it's a very comprehensive program. I've looked through the program in detail as well, and I'm going to leave some details about how you can connect with Jem if you're interested in taking your business to the next level. But as you can probably tell, this is not for the people that just want to sit back and get rich quick. Jem's going to show you what to do and help you to maximize your own potential. So Jem, as we wrap up today, is there one last piece of advice that you'd like to share with anyone who's struggling or feeling a bit frustrated with they are at now and are unsure how to break through that? What can you leave us with that people might say, hey, yeah, I can do this?
Okay, so my biggest thing when you are stuck and struggling, and I kind of mentioned it earlier, look at your environment. You are the sum total of what is going on around you, or the sum total of the 5 people closest to you and the environment you put yourself in. I truly can say this, and I'm not going to just say this because she's sitting opposite me, but truly, Natasha was one of the people that came into my world at a very vulnerable time, as I shared with you, and changed things up for me. Natasha and our various colleagues and that we are also associated with and in various masterminds that I joined in order to up level my circle of influence. I am so grateful for all that they have given me and the personal growth and the professional growth that they have facilitated. So if you're feeling stuck, what I really encourage you to do is look at the environment that you're in. Are you in an environment that is fostering your growth as an individual and is fostering your belief in yourself? If the answer is no, you need to change something. However hard it is and however uncomfortable those conversations may be, you need to change something, and know that there are groups and places and communities that are your people. And when you find them and when you put yourself out there, you will quantum leap to levels you didn't even know existed. And certainly I know that Inspired Drive and Natasha and all of the communities that she's involved with are certainly a place that facilitates huge growth for entrepreneurs, and I'm sure you'll be very well looked after. So look at your circle of influence and reach out, find the communities and find the people that are going to take you to the next level.
Well, I couldn't agree more with that statement, Jem. Thank you so much. And, you know, I'll just comment to the fact that some people might be wondering, why have you got Jem on? She sounds like she's doing like very similar things to you. And here's why. I believe in abundance mindset. I believe that we can do more together. Different people will resonate with Jemima, that will resonate with me. And not only that, because of Jem's collaborative spirit, we're able to collaborate and share both of our skills and expertise across our community. So just having those amazing people with the right mindset is really going to quantum leap you. And as I said, I truly respect Jem's expertise and enthusiasm and passion for everything she's doing.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Natasha, so much for those kind words. And yeah, totally. What makes a badass chick better? 2 badass chicks in the same place. So there we go.
Sure does. And I'm going to leave all Jem's contact information in the show notes. But if you'd like to reach out to her, she's at jemimacooper.com. She's on Instagram, Jemima Cooper. And I'm also going to leave a note so where you can get access to some of her quick profit activators if you need to make some money quickly. And of course, if you'd like any of my help to simplify strategies to grow your business, the simple way, you can visit me at Inspire and Drive and download my simple business blueprint or schedule a discovery call. So that's all for now. Join me in the next episode where I'll be sharing more guest interviews with other experts who are bringing the best and most efficient business tips on how to grow your business. Bye for now, and let's keep business simple.